So once that pride comes into our heart, then we start to forget about the Most High, and that's when doubt starts coming in, and then we start to lose faith, and that's when these unclean spirits, that's when iniquity starts to come into us, and our soul dries up, like we read in Sirach earlier, and it says when the soul dries up, that's where unclean spirits go into these dry places. So let's go to Deuteronomy 8 and 14 to show you this proves that pride is when one departs from the Most High. This is just another example. Deuteronomy 8th chapter and the 14th verse. So actually, I'm starting at verse 11.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in not keeping his commandments.
Right here it says, don't forget him. So make sure you have him in your mind. You start forgetting, and that's where the unclean spirit starts coming up in you. Keep going.
And his judgments.
And his judgments. Understand many of the things that you do, like it says, you learn through the judgments, the things you're going through. Like if he punished you, you're supposed to learn from it. Similar to, like, let's say if you was a baby or a child and you touched the stove and the stove was hot, your hands got burned. You realize anytime the stove is on, you ain't gonna touch that again. You learn from that. That's supposed to be like a type of wisdom. Same thing with his judgments. If he punished you for something, you learn not to do it again. So it says, don't forget about that, those judgments. Keep going.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Which I command thee this day. Keep going.
Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied.
When he starts giving you a blessing, you get a bigger house, like close to a mansion, you get silver and gold, you get a lot of herds and you get flocks and things like that. You're always eating and everything, you're dealing with your family. Then something else happens. You start seeing all these blessings, and that fear of the Most High starts to, go away because you're getting so many stuff here and there. Keep going.
Then thine heart be lifted up.
So your mind is now being lifted up. Pride is coming in. So now you're slowly turning away from the Most High. That's one reason why he had to have a day of Sabbath to remember him, because he was going to be blessing his people so much that he had to have that one day so people could just think about him that one day. So you can focus on the Most High, because he know that the Most High will just have that love for us, that even in our wickedness, he will continue to bless us. And a good example was during the time when the kings was going off, and when the southern tribes, the northern tribes, they were going off in idolatry heavenly, the Most High was still blessing them to the point where Elijah had to pray for rain so it could stop rain, so people could get to know that they're getting punished. He had to actually pray to the Most High, because the Most High, that's why Christ said, who's good? The Father is good, because he always let his rain come down on the good and the evil. It's always that there's something good about the Most High. When we look at it and we read all the stories about the wilderness and everything, we always have this image of that the Most High is like this like big guy who's just ready to punish you and things like that. But when you hear Christ, he says no. Christ himself said that it was up to him. He had a whole lot to judge the Pharisees on. He really was angry at the Pharisees, but his Father himself said, calm down, be gentle with them, things like that. The Father has that loving heart right there. He's just that God of love. We just can't understand it like Christ can. Because Christ was angry. He said, I had a lot to judge of you, meaning he had a lot to condemn them of, but he had to do his Father's will. His Father wanted to be nice and gentle to him. Things like that. So right here, the Most High will keep blessing them over and over. And read verse 18 again.
Verse 18. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth.
No, go to verse 14 again.
Then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
Yeah, the heart of you get lifted up. So that's one thing. We always have to give heed to the Most High's words, and we can't forget about it. Let's go to Hebrews 2:1. So we have to always keep it in our minds to remember the Most High always. As long as we can remember that the Most High is there, that's the reason why we can't see him, but we know he's there. Because number one, it needs prophecy there. Because right now we're in a generation where we have to walk by faith, not by sight. We're not part of that first generation, that chosen generation that was able to see all the miracles, was able to walk with Christ, see all the things like that. They was able to do both faith and sight. But we only have that faith. We have to have that faith by reading the scriptures and finding out prophecy and things like that. And once we put things together, we understand how the Most High exists. We understand why you see brothers and sisters in the faith get blessed, and we see the people in the world and the 2/3 of our people constantly get punished over and over, no matter how many times they can march for civil rights or march around for reparations and march around. They always end up where they're back in the same place. No matter what they do, our people keep going back in the same place. It's like they're in circles. The only people that can break free of that is once they come to the understanding of Christ and understanding that we're here to serve a punishment that not because of our faults, because of our ancestors, things like that. See, we bear their iniquities and we just have to bear the punishments. We can't escape it. If we want to go out this country, it's still going to follow us because of what our ancestors have done. So we have to bear that iniquity. So Hebrews 2:1.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip.
When it says let them slip, meaning let them slip out your mind. We don't want those things to slip out your mind. Once they slip out your mind, that's when those unclean spirits, they start to come up inside of you. Let's go to Deuteronomy 29:18. See, according to Second Esdras, everybody has this seed of evil that's in them, or the seed of wickedness. Everybody has that. Ever since Adam sinned, it says the seed of wickedness is in everybody. But understand, not all, anytime if you know about gardening and you planting seeds, not all seeds root. You can, like, let's say if you have 12 seeds, or like 12 seeds and you put them in the ground, sometimes only 8 or 9 plants will actually root up. Not all of them will root up. There's certain seeds just stays dormant. So if there's a seed of evil in all of us, we have to keep that seed dormant. We can't let it bear root, because it says once it bear root, that's where we can get poisoned by these unclean spirits. And it's going to go into that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 29:18.
Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 18. Lest there should be among you man or woman or family or tribe whose heart turneth away this day from the Lord our God.
So right here it says, first their heart, like it says, the beginning of pride is when their heart, which is their mind, departs from their maker, meaning you turn your mind away from the Most High, then something else happens. Keep going.
To go and serve the gods of these nations.
Go and serve the gods of these nations, or do anything covetousness, which is idolatry, or serve any other gods, or serve these celebrities or these politicians. Something happens inside of you. Keep going.
Lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood.
So in other words, a root starts to bear in you. That seed of evilness that's supposed to remain dormant, it starts to have a root. It starts to root inside of you, grow. And it says bear gall and wormwood, which is poison, and it starts to poison you. That's when those unclean spirits come up in you, because your heart turned away from the Most High. And let's see what happens. Keep going.
From the past, when he heareth the words of this curse.
In other words, when you start reading all the judgments of the Most High, the curses in Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, or he just know about the judgments that's all throughout the scriptures, Like it says, don't do this or you'll be punished. Don't do that, you'll be punished. Keep going.
Then he blessed himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the imagination of mine heart, to add drunkenness to thirst.
In other words, he's saying nothing gonna happen to me. That's another way of saying it. Meaning he's saying nothing gonna happen to me. When it says drunken, he means drunken with philosophies, things like that. So wicked philosophies or wicked ways. So he said, nothing gonna happen. Let's see what's gonna happen. Go on. Keep going.
The Lord will not spare him. But then the anger of the Lord and his jealousy shall smoke against that man.
It's gonna smoke against that man. So the Most High is gonna be angry at him. See, the Most High's anger doesn't like punish you always directly, really, really fast. It happens sometimes. Because there are certain people where the Most High will take you out in an instance if you get his anger like that. If you get his anger like too bad, he'll take you out in a minute. Like that time where one of the King Herod, when there was one part where King Herod was on a podium, he was addressing the people, but he got a little too proud. So the Most High just smote him down.
The gruesome death of King Herod. The cheers of the crowd echoed through the grand halls. King Herod Agrippa stood before them, draped in a robe that shimmered like molten silver under the morning sun. He raised his hands, basking in their praise. The voice of a god, not a man, they shouted. He did not stop them. He did not correct them. He let their worship soak into his skin like the warmth of the sun. But something else burned inside him. A sharp, twisting pain coiled in his gut. His face twisted, his hands clutched his stomach. The pain deepened, his knees buckled. The roar of the crowd faded as his vision blurred. Inside him, his body turned against itself. The flesh that had once been showered in royal garments was now the breeding ground for a slow, rotting death. Worms, small and writhing, began to consume him from within. His attendants rushed to him, their hands trembling as they tried to lift the man who had ruled with such power. But no medicine, no wealth, no decree could stop what had begun. The same people who had called him a god now watched in horror as he crumbled before them, his body devoured by an unseen punishment. Within days, Herod was dead, his throne, his power, his pride, all reduced to decay. No war had taken him, no blade had struck him down. He had been eaten alive, not by his enemies, but by his own arrogance.
He had him smoked down. Certain things like that, the Most High can attack you in an instance. But it tells you in Ecclesiastes that the punishment of evildoer don't always happen speedily, because the Most High sends that little area of repentance, because he's a loving God. But he's a loving God. You keep on pushing him, things happen. Like King Herod pushed him, and something like that happened. And there was one time where the king of Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar, he became proud too, and he became autistic. He was actually autistic. He was acting just like a person in autism, taking his clothes off. He couldn't hardly talk, things like that. He had to be led around like a little child. He couldn't understand, things like that. He could take your mind out just like that if you get too proud with him.
Nebuchadnezzar, the mighty king of Babylon, was one of the most powerful rulers of his time. Under his reign, Babylon became the greatest empire in the world. Its towering walls, lush gardens, and architectural marvels, like the Hanging Gardens, were unmatched. However, Nebuchadnezzar was a proud man. He believed that his power, wisdom, and strength had built this glorious empire, and he refused to acknowledge Yahweh as the true ruler over all kingdoms. One night, Nebuchadnezzar had a troubling dream. In the dream, he saw a great tree that stretched to the heavens. Its leaves were beautiful, and its fruit provided food for all. But suddenly, a messenger from heaven commanded that the tree be cut down, leaving only the stump and roots. The messenger declared that the king would live among the animals, eating grass like an ox, until he recognized that Yahweh is the sovereign ruler of all. Nebuchadnezzar called on Daniel, a prophet of Yahweh, to interpret the dream. Daniel explained that the tree represented Nebuchadnezzar and his vast kingdom. Because of his pride, Yahweh would humble him, causing him to lose his kingdom and live like an animal for 7 years. But Yahweh, in his mercy, would restore Nebuchadnezzar if he repented and acknowledged the Most High as the true king over all. Despite the warning, Nebuchadnezzar's pride remained unchecked. One day, as he walked on the roof of his palace, overlooking the splendor of Babylon, he declared, "Is this not great Babylon, which I have built by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty?" Instantly, a voice from heaven interrupted him, announcing that the judgment foretold in his dream would now be fulfilled. At that moment, Nebuchadnezzar's mind was taken from him. He was driven out of his palace and lived like a wild animal. His hair grew long like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. He ate grass like an ox, and the dew of heaven drenched his body. For 7 long years, Nebuchadnezzar lived in this humiliated state, completely cut off from human society. Finally, after the appointed time, Nebuchadnezzar lifted his eyes to heaven and acknowledged Yahweh as the true King of Kings. He praised the Most High, declaring that Yahweh's dominion is everlasting and that he humbles the proud and raises up the humble. At that moment, Nebuchadnezzar's sanity was restored, and so was his kingdom. In fact, Yahweh made his kingdom even greater than before, showing his mercy and power. Nebuchadnezzar's story is a profound reminder that Yahweh is sovereign over all, and no earthly king, no matter how great, can stand against him. It teaches us the importance of humility, obedience, and giving glory to Yahweh for all things.
That's why he's saying he'll give you a chance, but he will take care of you. He can take care of you in an instant, or he can wait. Like some of these nations, for example, while they're doing their wickedness, he can wait. He wait for them because they're nations. They're evil. They have a mind frame of a beast. But when our people do the same wickedness, it's like it's not too well with our people because they're already under the curse. So now they also have to get punished. So, but keep reading. Verse 20.
And all the curses that are written in this book shall lie upon him, and the Lord shall blot out his name from under heaven.
Blot out his name under heaven. So in other words, he won't be a part of that 1/3. That's the thing. You're gonna have to be part of the 2/3 now, meaning he doesn't receive that glory or that power, things like that, or be one of the ones that's part of the saints. He's gonna be like the 2/3, like all these Muslim brothers that you be seeing and everything like that. All the 2/3, along with the so-called Gentile nations, things like that. They're all that's the 2/3 in the Gentiles. They get brought back in a second resurrection, things like that. But you want to make it to the first resurrection. So when you make it to the first resurrection, you don't have to worry too much about the day of judgment because it says you already got your seat secure. That's the good thing about being part of the first resurrection. The second resurrection, they have to work at it because even though Christ is there on the scene, they don't have that mortality. So they have to work at it then. And it said, even then, many of them are going to turn their back because once Satan is released to start judging the nations, they're going to follow Gog and Magog and just go against them. Things like that. But we want to make it, like it says, when the saints go marching in, I want to be a part of that number. What's that number? It's talking about the 144,000 and the 1/3. Let's go to Proverbs 16, verse 5. That's Proverbs 16 and 5. To see how people who always let's start at verse 16 and 1. Because now it's going into how you can have your mind being controlled by the Most High.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 1. the preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Most High.
This is how the Most High can actually have the preparations of your mind. The heart is your mind. And your answer of how you speak, it can come from the Most High. Keep going.
All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes.
In other words, anything that the man does, it seems okay. But keep going.
But the Most High weigheth the spirits.
Weighing the spirit to see if you're righteous or wicked. Keep going.
Commit thy works unto the Most High.
When you commit your works unto the Most High, you do good works. You're showing the kindness, the love, the peace, the gentleness. You're being long-suffering, things like that. You're following commandments and things like that. It says that that's how you commit your works to the Most High. Keep going.
And thy thoughts shall be established.
Now your thoughts can be established. So the Most High will establish you having that righteous thoughts. Go to verse 4.
The Most High hath made all things for himself, yea, even wicked for the day of evil.
There are just certain people on this earth just to be wicked. They just have a wicked mind. That's that curse that was put on them. You just have certain nations that are real cursed. Like I give one super cursed nation, the Canaanites. When you go into the places of the Congos and you find out the bush people, the people who they have a learning disability, number one, they speak with a clicking sound. It's hard for them to learn another language. It's like they're mental. They can't hardly wear clothes. Things like that. They call it the bush people. And they're like in I say a southern, not exactly South Africa, but like around the Congo area. And they like to stay in the jungles and things like that. And they like to be naked and all that. And other African nations look down upon them. They look like the regular Hamites. They look down upon these people. They call it the bush people. Things like that.
As we all know, when something falls from the sky, it can only have come from the gods. Of course, the gods only send good and useful things. However, this time they made a mistake. The gods must be crazy. The unusual story of Key, the bushman, as he travels to the edge of the earth to return the gods' mistake. A most unpredictable journey, fraught with dangerous gorillas, a modest schoolteacher, a dedicated scientist, a tree bearing strange fruit, bizarre machinery, and wild beasts. The gods must be crazy. A serious and revealing look at civilized man. Organized.
Stop!
Gallant.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Poised.
How far do we have to go? How?
Sensible. Suave and debonair.
I brought you. I'm sorry.
Generous.
He's got to take the money. It's the law.
He can't use that stuff.
Well, I have to.
Bushmen don't know about money.
And as for the edge of the earth, a sense of wonder, a touch of magic. The gods must be crazy. An epic comedy of absurd proportions.
So, verse 16 and 5. Proverbs 16 and 5.
Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Most High.
So, everyone that's proud in heart or proud in mind is an abomination unto the Most High. So, and we already know, like it tells you in Ecclesiasticus 10 and 12, the beginning of pride is when one departs from his maker, the Most High. Once your mind is turned away from that, that's known as pride. And that's an abomination to the Most High, because it's like you're turning your back on the Most High, and the Most High, he's a jealous God. Keep going.
Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Most High. Though hand joined in hand, he shall not be unpunished.
Even if a brother want to vouch for him and say, yo, this is actually a good guy, have his hand, yo, this is a good guy, the Most High knows his heart. He says, nah, this guy gonna get it. This is a very disrespectful, proud person. He's gonna have to get punished for what he has done. His heart was very hardened, meaning he turned away from the Most High. He didn't want to like find out about the truth about the Most High. He didn't want to actually follow after the Most High. He actually wanted to follow the imagination of his heart. Now, the Most High is able to change your mind and give you a new mind, a better mind. Like it tells you, the Most High can establish your thoughts. You commit your works to the Most High, your thoughts can be established. So this is how you change your mind from an evil mind to a good mind. Let's go to 1 Samuel's 10th chapter, 10 and 9.
Right, 1 Samuel?
Yeah, regular 1 Samuel's 10 and 9.
1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 9.
So start at verse 8, just so we can understand what's going on. So this is ways how you can get this new mind. So if you having like this evil thoughts, you have to make sure you establish your thoughts to the establish your works to the Most High. So let's start at Samuel verse 10 verse No, start at verse 9.
1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 9. And it was so, that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, Most High gave him another heart.
Yeah, another mind. He's able to change your mind. Keep going.
And all those signs came to pass that day.
So this right here was right after David became anointed king, if you read above. So this is where he was being anointed. Then no, this is when Saul was being anointed. He was getting that other mind. So the Most High, he can give you this mind. If you read right above, it tells you about like how he was prophesying and things like that, how the olive oil touched his head, and the Most High, he was able to give him another heart, which is another mind. And all those things came to pass. But now, even though the Most High can give you another mind, you forsake the Most High, he can take that mind from you. Because if you continue to read on, that's what happened to Saul. And also, something like that came close to happening to David. Let's go to Psalms 51 and 10. That's why David had to pray, because he committed like two abominations, murder and adultery. And what he did was not pleasing. So Psalms 51 and 10. Psalms 51 is a psalm that he did after he had gone into Bathsheba, and he realized what he has done. Psalms 51 and 10.
Psalms 51 and 10. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me.
So he wants his mind to be now cleansed from all the wickedness and things like that. That's why he never did that sin again. He never went and murdered no man. He killed a lot of Philistines and things like that, but he didn't murder an innocent person. He never committed adultery again, when you think of it. He may have numbered the people and everything, but as in that same manner of sin, he did not do it. Keep going.
Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me.
Well, in other words, he don't want to be cast away from the Most High's presence like Saul was. He says, don't take the Holy Spirit away from him, because if you know, David was able to run up to like 50 miles per hour. He was able to break steel with his fingers, and he was able to reappear in certain places. The Most High was able to grab him up and put him in certain places. He had certain superpowers like that. Just like there were certain prophets like Elisha and Elijah. They was able to see into the spirit world. They were able to do duplications, things like that. Certain people, they had spiritual abilities like David had. He was able to run real fast. It says fast like a deer. Deers can run up to like 55 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour real fast. Things like that. He was able to bend still with his fingers, and the Most High was able to make him appear in certain places. And so similar to like teleportation. And he did not want to lose that. Those were good powers to have if you was a man of war. So if you're able to bend steel and things like that, imagine you're able to rip up an enemy, things like that. If you're able to run like 50 miles per hour, you could like chase a person on a horse, things like that, and jump on it, things like that. If you're able to teleport here and there, it was hard for the enemy to kill you. That's why anytime you read the wars of David, rarely do you hear him getting injured, things like that. And he did not want to lose that special ability that he had. So he had he knew that after he sinned, things was going to happen.